Well, good evening, folks. Hope you're well. A bit of a mixed bag tonight. If you're okay with that, I hope. Talk about some experiences I've had in the past, and maybe you will have them or will have them for sure if you continue down the conspiracy analyst's route. Welcome aboard, those who are new, and if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe. Every little helps, thumbs ups, etc. And I really do appreciate you putting your comments on my videos. I spend a lot of time doing these videos for everybody's benefit, and the most I get out of it, quite frankly, is karma and the pleasure of reading your comments, and hopefully you tell me how what I've said has impacted your life in some small way. I hope it's improved it. With that said, we shall begin. Forgive me for vapping today. I quit the habit, smoking, some time ago, about 6 years ago, but I've developed a safer habit because I need something. Yes, I'm one of them. The next goal, of course, is to quit the vap. Well, how many of you, I'll ask you a question, how many of you have had a close friend or colleague laugh at you yet about what you believe? Well, if you haven't had anyone laugh at you yet about what you believe, you've either got the wrong friends, or you're talking to the wrong people, or they think you're more to be pitied than scorned. Or you simply don't talk to them about your beliefs because you're scared of the reaction. You cover up your true colours. Well, it's time to be exactly like that chrysalis and break out and become a butterfly of the freedom of information that you want to spread around and pollinate those poor little plants that are withering out there looking to break free themselves. So how many friends have laughed at you yet? How many family members thought you're a nutter yet? Have you lost some friends by what you think and the way you've grown apart? They've gone that way and you've gone that way. Friends can be including, of course, husbands and wives and older children. Young children can be forgiven, but older children tend to think, oh my God, my parents, she's going loopy or he's going loopy. Just retreat face forwards and they, yes, mum, no, mum, here we go again. Oh, dad, don't start again, dad. Or, signs and symptoms of their rejection of your brilliant ideas and hypothesis. Well, welcome to the club if you've been laughed at. But I've had experiences where I was in conversation with people who I'd considered quite intelligent, quite frankly, and I left the conversation thinking they're an absolute dunce and they are a cultural vacuum. How my impression of them was formed and then suddenly deformed and reformed in another world, really, because they showed their true colours of what they firmly believe. Because a lot of people that we mix with quite a lot on a daily basis, and certainly on a social basis, we share this planet with all types, the flat planet, by the way, with all types. It's like licorice all sorts, isn't it? All those little bassets falling around, you'll have to think about that. Bassets make licorice all sorts, okay? Bertie Bassets, all those little bassets. And they come in all shapes and sizes and beliefs and colours and religions and creeds and languages, and they're all, but we are people. That's all. And people is naught, as they say in Yorkshire, naught is strange as folk. That is so true. I have had the misfortune of having quite a few heated debates with people, and sometimes it's you are better off with certain. It reaches a point in the conversations or the relationship where you think it's beyond saving. They are intransigent in wanting to accept what you have to say or even look into it. And me, well, point one finger, another one points back, doesn't it? I'm quite happy to listen and investigate what other people tell me. And I'll hopefully meet them again or talk to them again or contact them in any other way again and say, I did look into what you said, but here's the flaws. This is where it all falls down, my old China. You know, because you don't want to take somebody's word for it, do you? But there's one thing for certain that separates those people who are intelligent and those people who are stupid. And it's not as obvious as you might like to think. Intelligent people are intelligent because they recognize very quickly in life just how much they don't know. It is the morons out there who think they know everything. Oh yes, the jack of all trades, master of none. They've heard it, said it, done it, got it. They've not. It's like being a food taster. They've never sat down and had a proper meal. They've sniffed it, turned their nose up at it. Ugh, not me, it's not my bag. I don't like the flavour, I don't eat meat, I'm a veggie. You name it, metaphorically, that's what they're like. And these people are stuck like a record in a groove. And they will go through their lives like that and then fall over and drop dead. And that'll be the end. Well, it is true, isn't it, that the man who can read but doesn't is no better than the person who doesn't know how to read. What's the difference? I used to argue this at school when the teachers were trying to teach us algebra. And I used to say, what is the bloody point? I have no intention of wanting becoming a mathematician or a builder, thank you, or a surveyor. You know, why are you wasting my bloody time? Why have I got to learn this? Why have I got to learn half, possibly 2/3 of what I learnt at school? I don't think I've ever applied in my life. History? It would be a good idea if they taught the real history of this world, don't you think? But no, we take it, the Crusades and the wars, the royalty, yada yada yada. We leave, and if we don't look into this, we just take it as read. I didn't learn till late in life, folks, that the Windsors were a bunch of Germans. I just thought Windsor, terribly British name. Yes, on the face of it, they look British to me. That means there's no black people, as far as I'm concerned. There's no Muslims, there's no Asians. Yes, they look totally British to me. It makes sense. Didn't see any black people in the medieval royal families, did we? No. Bit of black nobility, maybe. But no, it just didn't occur to me. And then one day I found out that they're not really the Windsors at all. And I did some digging, and I learned that a lot of history about the royal family, or what we perceive as the royal family. Okay. And I realised that the current lot on there have no right to be on the British throne anyway. Yeah. It was the bird from Scotland's throne, really. Anyway. But my experiences then with people who laugh at me is very simple. I say, let's sit down and I'll listen to you for half an hour and you listen to me for half an hour. But I prefer to listen to them first because I want to see them make a fool of themselves first. And that'll give me time to think about, to formulate a plan of attack. Be careful though with this sort of approach, because if you convince a person against their will, they will be of the same opinion still. Try to convince a person against their will, and they will be of their same original opinion all the time. They won't change, because you cannot nail jelly to the wall. You cannot push rope. I'm sure you know the sayings. But they say things like, I don't know if you've had this, they say, yeah, you mean, are you telling me that we live on a flat earth? Yeah, absolutely do. And they giggle. And I let them get away with it. And they tell me a diatribe, or give out this diatribe of abuse towards me. And I'm lapping it up, man. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm making notes, because my recall isn't very good. So I have to make notes. Okay, flat earth. Took the piss. What was his taking the piss equivalent? It was, oh yes, we would fall off the edge. What about the North and South Pole? We've seen it from outer space. The physical properties of it all, of course. The Copernicus world. The globes that we get shown at school, the pictures. Yada, 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 yada. We get at school the pictures on the walls, don't we? Yes, of course we do. Oh, NASA. Yes, we've been to the moon and seen the Earth from the moon, and it's a ball. Yeah. Okay. And I'm making mental notes. I know what my comebacks will be. I'm formulating my comebacks. So the heading will be Earth. LOL. And the next one then. Yeah, the fact is that I don't have fluoride in my drinking water, and I filter all my home water. I will not drink out of the taps in any country. Well, I don't think the government would put poison in the population's water. We wouldn't have any population left. I say we don't have much. What is the point of the poison? It's to dumb us all down. I don't see many bright people around UK lately. I make a mental note. Fluor is good for your teeth, man. It's good for your teeth. Guys, get with the programme. The rate of dental decay in the UK is nothing to do with the addition of fluoride. Nothing. The reduction is because we're more educated into cleaning our teeth properly. We have better toothpaste. We have at least a little better education from parents who are a bit more savvy. Okay, we no longer use salt to rub our teeth and our finger. We've come on a bit. Yes. Well, that's another little mark. And what else do I believe in? Oh my God. Inoculations. You've got to have inoculations, you moron. Yeah. Popcorn the kettle black. You got to have inoculations. We would be in a right bloody state if there were no inoculations. Measles, mumps, rubella, yada, 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 yada. The list is on, hundreds of available inoculations, folks. Yeah. Well, you're opposed to inoculations? Certainly am, Stanley. Absolutely am. God made no trash. Well, not God as you would think, but our Creator. Yes. We have natural given, God-given, Creator-given immunity. And it does us good. This is why we have the facility to make our own antibodies. But we need a little bit of help to trigger the body to produce the relevant antibody. So next time we get it, we're ready. It's a bit like getting a smack in the mouth when you're training to be an MMA fighter or whatever they are. You've got to take the rough with the smooth. You've got to be bitten to get smitten, haven't you? You've got to take a few punches in order to build up the resistance of the pain and manage the pain. And the same with inoculations. You have to have measles in order to... and mumps. Yeah, you do. I know loads of kids when I was a kid have mumps. I knew loads of kids that had measles. Parents used to take their children specifically to a birthday party where they knew that the person whose birthday it was ragingly infected with measles, and in the vain hope that their kids would get it too, to build up an immunity. Yes, talk about baptism of fire. Measles parties, we used to have them in the 60s and 70s. But then we got MMR, the triple whammy that causes 1 in 4 kids in America to go retarded with their 17 preschool inoculations and 27 by the time they go to work, and they're compulsory. Yes, I don't think we should inoculate people. And I don't think we should inoculate our pets either. Perhaps one thing I would inoculate my dogs with if I didn't live in Britain would be the rabies jab, because that's a death sentence for any dog. The rest, parvovirus against rats. None of my dogs have been inoculated against parvo. I have rats coming out the yin-yang in my garden that I failed to keep the population down by shooting, because I won't shoot them anymore. And in 8 years I've lived here, none of my dogs have got parvo, despite the rats in their garden. But the vets will tell you you've got to have your dog inoculated, so you're one of those who don't inoculate your pets. None of my dogs are inoculated. None of them are ill and have been ill. None. You see, it's rather funny, isn't it? If you try to get your kid into school and the teacher says, you can't come in here until your kid is inoculated, like the rest of the 50 behind me. They've all been inoculated. Well, why won't you let my kid in? Because it hasn't been inoculated. Well, if all them in there are safe from any disease, whatever disease my child might bring into the class, they're all covered, aren't they? No, you see the logic? Let the other suckers have the inoculations, if that's their thing. But you don't have to have them. You should be equally worried about catching a disease off them. But they don't, because inoculations in our society are a complete bloody scam. Because the idea isn't to inoculate us with the injection from the bug, it's the thymol and the mercury and the other little elements that they put in the ingredients into an inoculation. Not interested in the flu vaccine. That's 1 in 36 chance of getting the flu right, because there's 36 variations of a flu virus. 6 viruses have 6 variations. That's 1 in 36 chance of the pharmaceutical companies inoculating you with the right coverage. It's not the point. They know it's a failure. And let's face it, out of 63 million people in Britain, that's conservative, only 4 or 5 a year die of the flu. And they're normally old duffers or on the last legs anyway. They would have died anyway, probably. Would have been a cold, never mind the flu. But now they want the thymol and the mercury and all the other shit to load into your system to dumb us down. So you're right, I don't put fluoride. I don't have fluoride in my toothpaste. I filter all my water away from all the nasties. Yes. And I refuse point blank to have any inoculations. There we are. You're stupid then, ain't you? Oh yeah, keep talking, bright boy. Yeah. So we've discussed the basics. What about this then? Hey, what about this satellite thing we talked about last night? Well, don't tell me you don't believe in satellites. Well, have you ever seen one? Have you ever seen one at close quarters? No, it got to be up there. You wouldn't get Sky TV, would you? Watch the match. I don't want to watch a match. Because instead of watching that idiot box in the corner that lies to me obsessively, I suppose you hate the government, don't you? This is the conversations I'm getting Everyone's a winner. No, not everyone's a winner. Most of them are losers, like you. What do you mean? So you don't believe the Prime Minister and the Cabinet and the parliaments and all the politicians have got Britain's best interests at heart? You're absolutely right there. They haven't. Here we go again with your conspiracy theories. Well, if they had if Britain meant so much to our politicians and its success so much to our politicians, why don't they do it as a full-time bloody job? From 8 o'clock in the morning till 6 at night, and they should clock in and clock out. But you'd be lucky if you saw a politician, member of parliament, going in once or twice a week. And they only make themselves visible when it's Prime Minister question times on a Thursday. So the TV cameras are there. The rest of the time, they're wetting their whistle down the old boys network club, drinking booze and cavorting and dealing and wheeling and dealing behind the general populace's back. And they certainly don't want to exit Brexit. They want to stay in Europe. You're kidding, aren't you? Well, we should stay in Europe, shouldn't we? It's good for us, a common market. Here we go again. So you're an anti-marketeer, you're damn right. I'm a Brexiteer, proud of it. But you wait. These bastards are wiggling like a worm on a hook, aren't they? Brexit's coming, Brexit's coming. You're absolutely right. So you don't think we should be in Europe? We got great transport system. We can go on holiday. We all got the same currency. Oh, don't tell me you're against. You were one of those who were against the euro. You're absolutely right. I was. Why is that then? Because a country decides. What makes a country? You tell me, smarty pants. You got all the answers with your fluoridated water. You tell me, in your definition, what makes a country? Define a country. Oh, well, this is Britain, isn't it? Yeah, okay. What about England, then, if you want to call it England, Wales, Scotland and Ireland? What would make England, England, and Scotland, Scotland, and Ireland, Ireland, and Wales, Wales? Your starter for 10. Well, they've got Scottish accents. They live in Scotland, Wales, Ireland, and yeah, that's now you're thinking. What else? What defines them? What do you mean? Oh, what defines them? Why are Scottish people Scottish and Irish people Irish? Ask the general populace. What decides and defines a country is its borders, its language and its culture. Scottish people do things differently to us. Welsh people do things in their own sweet way, and the Irish have their own wonderful things. Borders, language and culture. So you're telling me, smarty pants, fluoridated man, inoculated man, misguided man, that he doesn't know what makes a country? And yet he votes every year when he gets a chance. Oh, don't tell me you're one of those who don't like sport. I have no problem with individuals playing sport. I have a problem with us being in a state of mass hypnosis, worshipping the ball. What, the ball earth? No, no, no. Any game with a ball in it. Name them. Name them. Football. Yeah, I thought you'd know that one. Yeah, football, that's good, yes. Baseball, basketball, golf, hockey. Any more? Have we bombed out now with that one then? Yeah, I can list a few more, but I'll save you time. Yeah, well, it keeps you fit, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. But not as a form of mass entertainment. Because most people are armchair experts. We all watch. We've got 22 in Britain. We must have 20 million people in dire need. It's like in the quickest way to say it is, in the average football match, you got 22 guys in dire need of rest, running around like maniacs, watched by thousands of people in dire need of bloody exercise. That's what it amounts to. That's our football. Yeah, man. When's the last time you played football, fat boy? At school? Yes, you were lucky. Yes, I know I'm not into sports. I'm into individual fitness. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But don't you realise that all you farts weightlifting and jogging excessive miles and doing silly things on a sports field, I'm going to have inflated tax payments to make because the health service, I pay national insurance, and all our hospitals are now clogged up with people like you who have lifted too heavier weights and knackered their hips by running, knackered their knees and joints by excessive exercise. Well, that was when you were younger, evidently. Yes, all things in moderation, and that's with exercise. Oh my God, yeah. So, is that what you believe then? We live on a flat earth? Don't start with the flat earth again. Folks, I've rattled on long enough about such a conversation. But this is what my conversations with the morons, the general public seem to be. When will we realise, or people like him realise, that the government certainly don't have our best interest at heart? They have their own interest at heart. And when they say all roads lead to Rome, they do, but it's not Rome. It is, but it isn't. It's to the Lombard Bank via, well, it's possibly heavily associated with and probably owns the Vatican. Yes. But that's a conspiracy theory. No, it's a conspiracy. That's all. So you're going to have a lot of these discussions throughout your life if you remain on the path of discovery. And you have to learn to accept disappointment because it's like being a preacher. Hallelujah. Some will, some won't. So what? Who's next? But I wouldn't recommend that you go shouting from the rooftops that you're a believer in everything I've just said about inoculations, water, viruses, yada yada yada, in support of me, not Fat Boy, because you will face the wrath of Khan. You see, but maybe if you're getting too much grief off these people that you're talking to, move on. The caravan has to move on. You have to search and look. Birds of a feather flock together. You may have been one of the flamingos, but now you're flying solo, man. And I'm going to tell you a quick story that'll demonstrate what I'm trying to say more clearly. And you may have heard it, but forgive me if you have, because there's new people, allegedly, all the time. There was a couple of turkeys, wild turkeys, okay, building their nests at the bottom of this cliff. And next to the nest was a sheer cliff edge. And the turkeys had a few eggs. And the turkeys were scrabbling around for little worms and bits and insects around. And the parents, the turkeys, waiting for their eggs to hatch, would often look up at the eagles soaring in a circle around them, not vultures, just eagles, and carry on scratching around. Anyway, the eagles eventually laid their eggs, 2 of them. Okay. And one of the eggs inadvertently got knocked out the nest, and it didn't fall, it scuttled down the side of the cliff edge, luckily landing in the soft sand. And the turkey mistakenly thought it was one of its eggs and clawed it back into the nest, and she incubated that eagle's egg along with her own egg, but she thought An egg's an egg's an egg. As I say in France, enough is enough. A French egg. Ouf, an ouf. Okay, enough is enough. You missed the joke. Okay, so the turkey is incubating the egg. Eventually, the eagle's egg hatched. And out popped this little eagle to join his brothers and sisters out there of the flock of turkeys. And the eagle baby got bigger and bigger and bigger, and would longingly, just like the other turkeys, look up to see his real brother flying around being taught to catch a thermal by its parents. And the sad news is that that baby eagle grew up thinking it was a turkey. And yet we are scratching round, a majority of us are scratching round like those turkeys, admiring those that we mistakenly think have our best interests at heart, the eagles, when they don't. They hunt us, they slaughter us, they eat us, believe it or not, they sacrifice us, and we are simply turkeys on the farm. We don't know our true potential that we're born with. And sadly, as I've said many times before, most of us will go to our graves with our song still in us. And the saddest two words you'll ever hear are, if only. So remember that turkey story, because most people you're surrounded by are turkeys. But you're not. And the only thing you need do, folks, is have faith in your ability. Step away from the turkeys and flap your gums. Spread the word. And don't forget to flap your wings, in the vain hope often that they will carry you away from the turkeys that you leave in your dust. You will outgrow people. And it seems as a casualty of all this learning that we all go through at our own pace, is that you might be stuck in marriage with somebody who's simply a turkey. And you thought you were a turkey, but something inside of you was saying something's not right. I love him, I love her, but we've grown apart. No, you don't both grow apart. It's usually one that's changing and growing as the eagle takes off. You don't have to hate the person that you split from. It's almost like a self-defense thing. But I know plenty of people who learn at different rates. He's gone that way, and he's gone that way, and she's gone that way, and they're friends. But they should never have got together in the first place. You can't breed an eagle and a turkey. And you cannot breed and mix the DNA. If you're going to develop and learn and grow in your life, you will change. But sadly, 90% of the people you know are as resistant to hell about acknowledging and won't acknowledge that from all of their life, they've thought black was blue because that's what they had learned at school and their peers and their parents and their teachers and their priests. And some people are just too bone idle. Well, such is their lot in life. They will always be destined to be turkeys. And I want you to soar with the eagles. Realize your true potential and don't be put off. When you know you're right, and that's all that matters. Catch you tomorrow, folks. Take care.